Hi, I'm Felicity, registered nurse, cosmetic injector, and founder of the Fit Injector Clinic. Welcome to my channel and video podcast streaming on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Today is episode 5, and I have business owner, marketing guru, and mum joining me. Welcome, Bonnie.
Thank you for having me.
So excited to have you here today. So, Bonnie is the founder of Beyond Media here in Sydney, and today we're going to chat about marketing, growing your business, and being a mum in business. So, Bonnie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you've kind of just summarised it, to be quite honest, if those 3 things are not enough.
They are.
Yeah.
Full stop, podcast done.
That's it. Goodbye. Nice to see you all. Have a good afternoon. I don't know. Small business owner, busy mum, loving wife. You're welcome, Danny. And that's about it, really.
So let's start with mum, because 2 things. You have a 2-year-old now, and currently
7 months pregnant.
30 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, 30 weeks is 7 months, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I was quickly trying to do the maths on that. So don't know how you're doing that again. So super mum, hats off to you.
Thank you.
Running your business, incredible. I want to know a little bit about sort of your background and how you started your business.
Oh, okay. It's been, very, I think as they say, when you're running a business or you start a business, there's no straight line. So I guess I worked in the corporate sort of space for a number of years and worked my way up through different companies and just identified that there were a lot of gaps in processes and operations that a lot of small businesses had. And it was something that back then I just thought, why am I working for someone else and fixing all these problems in these businesses? I could just do it for myself, work on my own time. So a lot about my decision to get into small business was freedom-based, and obviously what a trap. That's never the case.
You work more now.
I work more now than I ever have.
You left the 9 to 5 to work 24/7, right? Yeah.
Basically, but I mean, that's just the cliche, and we all know that now. And if you don't, take it from us.
Hot tips.
Hot tips. So I did that quite a few years ago. It's maybe five years ago now.
So you've had your business for 5 years?
Well, not this business for 5 years, but this is, I guess, the journey, right?
Oh,
so when I met you, Felicity, I was consulting. That was all I was doing. I was just consulting to small businesses, going in, identifying a lot of sales processes that were missing, issues that were preventing scale, and just would iron those out for small businesses.
Yeah. And so would that be like short periods of time with businesses or longer periods?
Some clients I still have today.
So just whatever they need.
Yeah. That's right.
Amazing.
Which was super random when you think about it, because it's like like a general manager for small businesses just going around fixing little problems, right?
Yeah, that's super helpful.
Through that, I learned a lot about major gaps in marketing, right? And at university, I did advertising, which is obviously, it doesn't cover the whole umbrella of marketing, but I did identify pretty quickly through that there were simple things that small businesses could be doing to make an impact and get a better result for their businesses or their brand and establish a better brand. So, when I fell pregnant with Bella, my lovely little toddler, she threw a spanner in the works, because honestly, consulting, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was just doing it, and I was doing it well. So it didn't really spark a journey for future business, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When I fell pregnant with Bella, it was, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Because I can't do this. Working, I can't carry a newborn around with me going into small businesses.
Oh, because you were physically
going in to businesses.
It wasn't something you could do primarily from home.
No, well, I mean, I could have. But how annoying jumping on a Zoom call every 45 minutes with different companies. Yeah. And to be quite honest with you, to make real impact in the small business space, you need to be there. Yeah. Period.
Totally.
You can't just run a Zoom call with 40 people on there or whatever. Yeah. Less, usually about 5 people, let's be honest. It's just... it just doesn't make an impact.
Yeah. And this is great to hear how your business actually had to evolve through having a child.
Yeah, like I started a totally different business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
So
is
did you feel like you had maybe like a bit of an identity crisis in the middle there?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Oh my God. Identity crisis. What do they call it? Existential crisis.
Yeah.
Yep. I had my daughter and I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I need to work.
Yeah.
I've always been the kind of person that needs to work.
Yes.
I need to do that for myself. And that's just, I guess that's my happy place.
Yeah.
It's always been a
That's
happy
who you
place
are.
for me.
Yeah.
So yes, then I started Beyond Media when my daughter was, I don't know, like, look, I started putting the ideas, concepts, structures together. She would have been about 3 months old.
Yeah. She was pretty young.
Yeah, I just kind of sat and started pulling everything together. I actually remember seeing you.
Yeah.
I think that was my first appointment after I had Bella.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I'm going to start a business doing social media and content creation. You were like, you do you, girl.
It's like, yes.
And I
You're
did.
like, I need to pivot this completely now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's
And at
what
this
I did.
appointment, you have baby in tow.
In the capsule.
And it's like, I've got to make this work.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
I want to work.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't think at the time I realized how challenging it would be.
Especially starting a whole new business
Yeah.
when she's 3 months old.
Look, it helped. Obviously, all the consulting work that I did,
Yeah.
that was quite helpful.
Yeah.
Because through those small businesses, I learned what not to do,
Totally.
which was like fast track your university degree. Like in 6 months,
Yeah.
you will learn everything you need to know about running a business by just throwing yourself in the deep end, which is exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I just did it without the risk.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
that's kind of the journey, really.
Yeah.
And now here I am running a marketing agency.
It's amazing. And so what if, say, someone's working with you, what sort of things would you be doing on like a daily, weekly, monthly basis for your clients? Just to give people a bit of an insight.
Right. Initially, I started just doing social media management, which essentially involved content creation, photo shoots, video shoots, all that sort of stuff to showcase their brand with a strategy in mind, and sharing that on a weekly basis, usually managing 5 to 7 posts a week on a Monday to Friday basis. So that was the primary offer. Through that, I think what the natural course of action is, you start adding on more services, right? So Google Ads, SEO, website development, it just kind of naturally grew from there. So me personally, a lot of my work is heavily invested around that content creation piece and directing the shoots, being creative director for the photo shoots and making sure my clients, their vision is heard and that it's done in a way that's going to compel an audience to take action or at least engage with their brand.
Amazing.
So
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks for the insight. I love it. So some of the topics we want to cover today is starting and growing your business and tips that you have for small business owners regarding starting their marketing journey.
Okay. That's 2 different things actually.
Yeah. So let's start with the first one.
Yeah.
Starting and growing your business.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, just be sure if you're going to do it, you really love it.
Yeah.
Because like we just said, it's a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
You wake up, it's the first thing you think about. Even if you have kids, it's always on your mind.
Totally.
So loving it is, really important.
And I like how you said before that you were really, really good at your consulting, but it wasn't what you were loving.
No.
And you weren't passionate about it.
No. It's like, I loved the result and I loved how happy it made my clients. But what I realized was what drives me was making people happy. Yeah. Actually, that's what motivated me to do what I was doing. Yeah. Despite all the very annoying things that come out of consulting. It is what it is, right? That's small business. It's a mess. It's a hot mess. Yeah. But so if you're going to start your business, make sure whatever it is you're doing, you really love it. Yeah. And you find joy in even the difficult tasks. Yeah. Which you won't always have, but you just have to have a very optimistic mindset. It's not going to happen overnight. And make sure that all your social media handles are not taken.
I know when people come up with these weird and wonderful names and ideas, and I get it through like people that I mentor, like cosmetic injectors, and I'm like, have we checked any of these yet? And you don't want to end up with like blah 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 _1 or
no, I know.
Yeah.
As silly as that sounds, it's so important for credibility.
Yeah, it's just all those little 1% things that do make a difference in the long term.
Yeah.
And I think also like hard work too. Like I talk with a lot of people who think that, say becoming a cosmetic injector and having their own business is an easy option, then it's like sort of sipping lattes and taking selfies and doing a bit of toxin. It is not. It is so much work.
Oh my gosh.
All day, every day. And the majority of work I do isn't actually injecting people. That's like a tiny little bit of what I do.
Yeah.
The rest is actually all the admin stuff that happens at the back.
Oh my God.
And when you talk to some people, they're just like, oh, I'm not prepared to do all that. And it's like, well, you might just want to go and, work for someone and be on an hourly rate. So you've got to really be prepared to put in the work because it never stops. Whether you've got your toddler running around, whether you're growing this baby right now, it doesn't stop.
No. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Like you'll probably be in labour like I was, and I'm like just answering a few emails here. My husband was like,
too.
"What?" I'm like, "I'm good, just having contractions." But yes, we can talk about your anti-wrinkle injections.
That's where we get along. It's a sickness. It's terrible. No, it's not.
From the moment we met, we knew we were going to get along.
I was like, this girl, I love her. I'm on the
ride. So if you're not prepared to do that, don't start a business.
Create too much. That's a bit extreme because not everyone's going to have kids.
No, calm down.
But honestly, that actually happened.
Yeah, same. Love that.
Yeah.
So what tips do you have for small business owners regarding the start of a marketing journey?
Well, having really not having expectations immediately. I think let's say a small business owner not necessarily has a budget to allocate to a marketing agency because the fee for marketing agencies, they're not cheap. Social media management, that's a great place to start to build brand awareness, but it's not going to get you leads. It's an awareness piece. But by way of tips for getting started is just start, number one, have all your social media handles discovered, have all your brand assets, make sure you get some brand guidelines done up before you start all of that.
Yeah.
Number one, have all of that sorted before you start. Make that investment and then set aside time every week to schedule, organize, have a strategy in place and execute on that. Don't pivot. Don't keep changing things. Just stick to one course for an extended period of time. Before you start expecting to see results. Yeah,
and I guess because a lot of people you would work with would sort of be chopping and changing. They're like, oh, I did that for 5 minutes and that didn't work, and they're trying to do a different thing instead of and I think that's very powerful, just stick with it because it takes time.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess to your point of SEO, right?
Yeah.
You're always talking about
banging on
one
about
of your fave
all
topics.
The time. Yeah.
But that is a long-term organic strategy.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll see fantastic results in the long term.
Absolutely.
That goes for social media.
Yeah.
That goes for your website. It goes for your brand, like anything to do with the way you're marketing your business. It's a long journey. Toyota didn't build its brand overnight.
Exactly.
They spent so much money to get to where they are. They made the investments, they built the relationships, and this is, obviously a huge corporate enterprise.
Yeah.
But I'm just referring to the journey itself.
Yeah.
Didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So that is something that every small business owner starting out or not sure where to go next needs to be aware of, is just stick it out, just ride the wave.
Yeah.
So,
it takes time and the benefits will come.
Eventually.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So your points here was investing in demand generation and understanding that there shouldn't be, in a normal case, an immediate return on investment.
Well, this just
so
goes
tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, that just goes to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Brand awareness.
Yeah.
So, if you're let's just use examples, case studies. When you first started.
Yeah.
How do you develop brand awareness is through the before and afters, right?
Yeah.
It's not something you can pay for marketing to do. You can't sponsor those ads, which is unfortunate because you probably get a lot of leads that was the case. But investing in demand generation is investing in constantly bringing new eyes to your business and your brand.
Yeah.
So you need to make that investment to convert those new eyes into a paying loyal customer and then nurture the relationship.
Yeah.
So as a new business starting on their marketing journey, I can't stress enough that your number one priority once you've established your brand guidelines, you know who you are, your mission, all that stuff, what you're selling, what you're doing, is to invest in demand generation. If you don't invest in that, like you've got nothing to convert.
Yes.
It's like, speaking of clients, investing in demand generation is your number one priority.
Yeah.
If you don't have an audience to pull in and keep interested and work on engaging, you're not going to convert that audience.
Yeah, totally.
So stop changing what you're doing. Just
stick to it.
Yeah.
And showing up too, like being really, really present.
Consistent.
And this is something that I talk to a lot of people that I mentor, you know, they're a bit sort of shy to get on camera, or a bit shy. A lot of people say like, oh, but won't I be annoying people if I put out these things? And I explain, but say Instagram is only showing a small percentage of our audience that content when you post it. So I'm like, don't be afraid to reshare it, repost it, say it in another way, and just keep turning up, because how many exposures do our potential customers need before they'll actually take action?
Honestly,
is it like 17 or something?
More.
Insane? More.
A bit more now. I think in 2017, don't quote me on this, but from memory, 2017, just on Instagram, it was up to 22 times before they trust you. And even want to interact.
Crazy. So if you throw one post out there and do one story and you sit there going, where are all my customers? It's not going to happen.
No.
Like that one person needs 22 exposures minimum to you. So I'm like, you've got to be doing the posts, the feed posts, the reels, the stories, just showing up. And don't be afraid to be going on about the same thing.
Yeah.
Because people need those constant reminders.
Well, that comes into your strategy, right?
Yeah.
And what are you talking about when you're showing up online, and how consistently are you doing that?
Yeah. And are you giving that education? Are you giving them something of value?
That's right.
Or are we just sort of throwing things out there?
Yeah, which a lot of small businesses do.
Yeah.
They don't really add value.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing when it comes to your strategy, is that how are you adding value? How are you showing up?
Yeah.
How do you give someone a reason to want to even just have a chat with your brand,
Totally.
Mental chat, communicate without actually saying anything, because marketing at the end of the day is all about sharing your message and doing it in a way that is compelling to your ideal client.
Totally.
Because not everyone's your ideal client.
No, and we don't want to appeal to everyone.
We do not.
No, please no.
We don't want to do that.
No. We'll have lots of issues.
You guys don't want to do that.
Yeah. And I think that what's really powerful, and something I learned a little while ago, is that when you're thinking about adding value, you want people to think, well, if I can get that for free, what do I get when I pay her for a service? And that goes for me, for you, for any industry.
Yeah.
And, I often listen to you and the tips that you put out there and the value you put out there, and I learn a lot from what you put. And then I start to think, wow, imagine what you do get when you pay Bonnie for her services.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, a lot more of that,
A lot
basically.
a lot more of that all the time.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing running a small business myself, right? I'm running a small business for small businesses.
Yeah.
Really. So my ideal client is really just about the niche of business that I want to help. And it's definitely not everybody.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to help the people that I can.
Totally.
I don't want to be everything for everyone. I learned that through consulting.
Yes.
Look, a business at its core is a business. It has its operations, its finances, its sales processes, all that fun stuff, right? But then it's all different. So you don't have it's like, going into I had a client that had a warehouse operation.
Yeah.
And I was
like packing and shipping.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
But they had a warehouse oversupply issue.
Oh.
And it took me like a good 2 months to figure out how to help them. Oh. But I did that literally for free because I was like, I just want to learn how to do this. But I don't want to work with warehouse operations. After this experience, I've just wasted 2 months of my life. I don't want to figure out how to fix a warehouse and their oversupply issue and all that sort of stuff. Like, so it was those sorts of things are learning experiences. So again, you stick to what you know.
Yes. So what types of clients do you work with? Do you sort of have like niches that you like to work with?
Yeah. Look, real estate's a big one.
Yeah.
Love working with real estate, but that's because my life is very involved in that.
Yeah.
Luckily to my husband, he's taught me a lot in that space. So I've been very blessed to learn a lot in that way from him. And I think from that, I just had like a natural inkling to want to work with professionals in a sales capacity.
Yeah.
Therefore, real estate just kind of worked out. So
Yeah.
I've got a couple of accounts that I do work for with that, which I love. What else have I done? A bit of hospitality.
Yeah, I've seen that recently. Yeah.
Hospitality.
Gyms,
Fitness
Yeah.
has been a big one actually.
Martial arts.
Fitness,
Yeah.
martial arts. So like
A little bit of everything.
a little bit of everything, but not really, because there are so many different businesses that you can work with.
Yeah.
But I've done a bit of fashion too.
Yeah, pick and choose, no warehouses. Yeah.
No warehouses. No, we will not be working with materials or building material suppliers ever again. Great client, not necessary.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be a relationship both ways, right? You've got to know that, okay, I can really give value to these guys, but then you've also got to wake up and go, I want to work with these people as well, and I feel passionate about this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, we've discussed having the brand guidelines. So that's, I guess, just a place to start. Have your brand guidelines.
Yeah.
Done. We know that. But then having a clear point of difference is huge, right?
Yeah.
That should really come into your guidelines and I guess your brand strategy. But having like a point of difference is huge. A unique value proposition. Yeah. What is that? How are you different? Because there's so many businesses. Mm-hmm. You are competing with the world.
Yeah.
What makes you different to your ideal client? So number one, who's your ideal client? How are you going to help them? Yeah. And what's your point of difference to everyone else that wants to help them too? Yeah. You need to know what that is. You need to get really laser focused on that and sell that in your strategy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just not really complicated.
Yeah, it's actually quite easy.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Just focus on those things.
Yes.
So how about let's talk about some tools to help people manage and schedule their content.
Yeah. Okay. So social media management then.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tools. I think I must personally lean on at least like 20 personally.
20
different things to create content, stories, all that sort of stuff. Let's just start with the basics though. Social media management is all about time management.
Yes.
Having a creative strategy managed in a timely manner that's not going to take time away from your business. So you're still getting your face up out there, or your business or your brand or your product or service, whatever. It's getting up into the universe of social media. So one really great tool would be later.com.
Yep.
Just a great scheduling tool. It's low cost. I think, I'm actually from memory, I think if you're just a single business, you can have a free account for up to like 20 posts a month.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I have been paying for it forever.
Yeah.
But later.com is fantastic for small businesses. There's others that are a little bit more sophisticated. So I would suggest starting with that.
Start with that. Yeah.
Really good, simple tool to use. Just helps you schedule, gives you optimized posting times. It's introducing regular changes as well to improve your ability to share content.
Yeah.
So story scheduling never used to be an option. A lot of people used to have to post that through the back end of Facebook, and they don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
So now it's all within one platform. Great tool. If you're going to use your phone, InShot is a fantastic tool. You got to pay for it, but it's only like $80 for the year.
Yeah.
Nothing. Great, expensive. See you later. Those are probably just some really easy tools you can start using straight away.
Yeah. And would you recommend, because a lot of people say, social media is a full-time job and I don't have time for it, things like that, utilize these tools and just maybe set aside like once a week where they sit down and they plan out the week, or maybe 2 weeks, or depending on what they do. Like for me, like I say sit down, every Sunday, and I set aside an hour, maybe 2 hours, and I plan out my content for that whole week, and I have everything drafted and ready to go. So in the scheme of things, it doesn't actually take that long, but I think people, it probably, weeks that I'm not prepared and then I'm on the fly and it's a Tuesday night and it's 7:00 and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't posted something. That's stressful to me.
Yeah.
But knowing on a Sunday, if I set aside that hour, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
would you recommend just sort of picking a time in the week where they sit down and have it ready to go?
Yeah. Be flexible with that too though, because I think you'll find that as you grow your business, demand changes.
And like with the stories, like I actually just do those on the fly every day. But that's something I set myself a challenge of trying to have a minimum 10 stories a day. Or my husband actually sets that challenge for me. He's like, he counts, you've only got 7. So setting that. But yeah, in terms of like my feed posts and reels, I like to have those all drafted and ready to go.
Your strategy is really great. I've always appreciated how consistent you are with showing up. You're more consistent than I am, to be honest, because I'm too busy managing everyone else's accounts. Seriously.
Totally.
But if I were to be just posting my own business all the time, like the consistency and the way that you show up is very personal. It's good.
Yeah.
And that's something I think everyone, look at this social media. This is great because it is constantly up on my feed and it's always being served to me as a recommendation.
And
content.
So is yours.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I do post.
And because you do. But, and I like it too is, you know, that you put your face out there, you get on the stories and you talk to people and you educate people. And the biggest, most powerful thing for me is like what I like engaging with is businesses that put themselves out there where I can see who they are and I can listen to them and I can see them talk and things like that instead of people just hiding behind, you know, stock images and pretty color match grids and things like that.
No stock images.
And there's like no names or anything like that. And you're like, who is this person? And you don't connect to that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I love, you know, getting on there and watching you and listening to you. It's good.
I think when you do show up, you show up with value. Yeah. And you show up in a way, you know, even if you don't post every day on your stories, some people just don't think to make the time for it. That's fine. If you're going to do it with personality. Yeah. Show your face if your brand is aligned to that. Not everyone builds a business off the back of a personal brand.
No.
That is a really powerful strategy in 2023 and beyond. But showing up with yourself or your team even, put personality into your stories. It's a totally different area to share content. Yeah. I think understanding the different areas within, we're talking Instagram right now. Yeah. But different areas on your social media platforms show up relative to what those want to see.
Exactly.
So so stories, personality, put the person in there, add value, have a chit chat, be candid, just show up. You don't have to be perfect. No one wants to see perfect. Scruffy mum bun on the top of the head's just fine. You know, it works as long as you're adding value.
But I think people then actually connect more because they're like, oh, she's human.
That's right.
She does have messy hair days and no makeup days.
Yep. It's in the data. It really is. It's in all the analytics.
It totally is.
You're like, wow, I had like 500 people view that story at 2:00 in the morning because I was telling them the truth. Yes. I was being honest. It was a really bad night.
Well,
everyone relates to that.
Your rant about daycares and how many DMs that you had more DMs that you've ever had. And I was like, that's engagement. The algorithm loved that.
No one cares about my business. But hey, guess what? People see now a lot of my business because I had engagement on my stories. So maybe I should whinge a bit more.
A few more rants there. But about normal stuff and I was watching it too. And I was one of the people DMing you about it because it was something that everyone could relate to.
That's right.
Yeah. It was really good.
That's it. And there you go. That's not really adding value, but that's showing up as a person.
And just being human and going, oh, wow, she has these real human things that you have to worry about as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No one's perfect.
No one is perfect. So we've focused a lot on Instagram and I want to ask you a little bit of sort of your opinions on Google Business because that's something that I really I'm quite obsessed with and how much sort of emphasis you put on that with your clients.
Well, it depends on the client. Yeah. It's not for everyone. For a business like yours, I highly recommend. Yeah. Particularly a location now. When you say Google My Business though, are you just talking what are you talking about? Are you looking at how your business is serving with your stats or let's be more specific? So Google Ads, is that what you mean?
Well, pretty much just getting reviews and using it as a local platform where, you know, people are in bed at night and they're searching, you know, hairdresser near me and they're going, oh, wow, that person has all these, you know, 5-star reviews and how beneficial that could be for a business.
Very beneficial. Yeah. But it needs to all make sense. Yeah. Okay. So say, for example, and this is where the effort in demand generation comes in. So let's say you've got 100 4 to 5-star reviews. Fabulous. That's amazing credibility for your brand. You couldn't ask for that, you know, that's fantastic. So investing in getting reviews is great. Yeah. But then if someone's invested in giving you a review and then a new customer goes to the website and then does what they do, particularly in your industry, they're going to go to your Instagram. Yeah. They're going to what is there? If there's nothing to see there.
If it doesn't
they're
relate.
gone.
Yeah.
They
totally.
are gone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a lot of businesses have this problem.
There's like a
social
disconnect. Okay.
Yeah, effort across all platforms is
Yeah.
so necessary. One over the other isn't necessarily the way to go.
Yeah.
But that's why I always say to small businesses, start on social media.
Yeah.
Because that is your social proof.
Totally.
That is your credibility without having to pay for it.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna, at least have a website, number one, you need a website.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs a website actually.
Yeah.
But have a website and then invest in your reviews.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really need to be more than just, hey, if you could leave me a Google review,
Yeah.
that would be amazing. There's a lot of softwares and technology now that sort of automate that.
Yeah.
Which is also a recommendation, but you can't always afford that.
Yeah.
So just asking for a review will be amazing to go towards the credibility and effort you're putting into your social media.
Yeah.
So
to kind of use it as like a backup, I guess.
they need to talk to each other. It doesn't make sense if one doesn't, Have you ever seen like an ad on Instagram or on Facebook or just whatever social media platform pop up? And then you go and you click on the page, there's like 2 posts on it.
Yes.
And you're like, wow, that was great marketing, but what happened?
Yeah.
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 Always happens.
And then you're gone 2 seconds later. You're
That's
like,
it.
I'm bored.
And that business has just paid for that conversion.
I know.
activity.
So they're paying for something that, they're not getting a return on investment on. Yeah.
So yes.
Let's go to our questions.
Sure.
So these we put on Instagram over the last few days, and we've picked some that we'll answer now. So first one is, what has been your most successful marketing technique?
Oh my God. Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yeah. Just having an amazing customer service.
Yeah.
And doing something that other people are not doing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Totally.
Like, look, you can invest in all these things, but if you have a really great marketing strategy, someone comes into your business and has a terrible experience, like, you've just shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
That is not going to lead to more. It's going to lead to a lot less, actually.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go out there, leave a bad review. They're going to tell all their friends and family, how bad that experience was. So you're better off investing in the best possible product or service.
Yeah.
And then not just relying, but creating referral programs. Yeah. Opportunities for your existing customer database, nurturing them, and then pushing other things. So yeah.
I like that. That's great. Instagram tips for small business owners. I think we've pretty much covered that one. As a small business owner, should I focus on Instagram first or other platforms like Facebook, TikTok, etc.? And you've sort of touched on that.
It depends. Yeah. It really depends.
Again, just the business. And I guess not everyone would be suitable to have, TikTok accounts and
No, that's right. It really depends on the business. I can't say one size fits all. You have to establish are you a product-based business, a service-based business. Product-based businesses are fantastic on TikTok if they're done really well with a user-generated content strategy, which is essentially, when you see those people being like, so tonight I'm going to do my skincare routine, try on these new products, whatever. And it's just like some random girl in her bathroom, but you're really engaged with this piece of content. You're like, oh my God, look at how glowy her under eyes are. I need that eye cream, That's a good TikTok or like a user-generated content strategy. Great for product-based businesses.
Fantastic.
Rough content TikTok, polished content Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So 2 platforms you want to be on. But then if you're a service-based business, let's say you're a construction company or maybe you're an RTO, having a Facebook account is really important because that's where your audience is.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Be where your audience is.
Yeah. Huh. I like it. So just tailoring for each business.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Yeah.
Do you recommend email lists for small business owners to assist with marketing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how would you recommend for a business owner to start growing this? Similar to, referrals, just like asking people to, join those email lists?
Yeah. Well, it's good to have a database.
Yep.
If you've got a database of existing clients, you've got a small pool of customers to lean on and share offers and all that sort of stuff with.
Yeah.
But a really powerful email marketing strategy is all about nurturing, adding value, no different to the way you show up on your Instagram or your Facebook stories or even a TikTok to share value, right?
Yeah.
Put it into writing in a really engaging and captivating way on email, people will eventually read it. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. Email marketing is so powerful. I don't care if people say, I get all these emails. It's like, but you're staying top of mind, aren't you, honey? Yeah. Remember that. People will remember your business when they need what you're selling because you're emailing them every week.
I know. And people go, I didn't get it or I didn't open it. And like I can see, you actually opened it 7 times.
Actually. You kept going back in there. So it must have been something that you liked.
Something that you wanted.
Something.
Yeah.
But so in terms of email lists, there's a lot of ways you can skin a cat with this, but there's advertising strategies just for email lists are very powerful as well. Yeah. Because you can create a funnel through that.
Yeah. And do you recommend to say keep it a little bit more exclusive for those people that are saying not like a little bit separate from your Instagram in terms of like the offers and things that you maybe have for an email list?
Let's say you want to generate a list of potential buyers for an online course. Yeah. So you would advertise something to get their email address, clickbait of some sort, perhaps a document that gives them 10 tips on how to make this much money tomorrow, right? Yeah. Which is not really, it's a bit of puffery, but whatever it is, it's clickbait. You got the email address, they've got something out of it. Yeah. Now you have that email address, you can begin your email sequence. Yeah. You might have, a certain number of emails in that sequence to nurture and add value and result in a conversion purchasing your online course and then upselling from there. Yeah. So that's like it's a niche in its own business, right? If you want to look at it like that, it's its own little operation. But as far as email lists for your existing database, it's great to just keep people top of mind. Yeah. That's
sort of like updates and specials and
just like little things you could be doing. It's about adding value through your content. Yeah. At the end of the day, just always about adding value. Yeah. So
Amazing. That's so good. So before we finish, how do people get in contact with you and get started with you?
You can either reach out my Instagram accounts, find pretty responsive on the DMs, or you can contact me on my website or my contact number.
Amazing.
So
Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 5 of this video podcast series. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. A huge thank you to Bonnie from Beyond Media for joining me today. Thank you so much. It's been so great to learn more about you and your business, and I hope that can really help people tuning in today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys. Bye. Done. Cut.
Cool.
Well done.
Yeah.